Mao Zedong was born in 1893 in Shaoshan, a small village in the Hunan province of China. He emerged as one of China's most influential leaders, leaving a profound impact on China's modern history. Mao's life and political career are tumultuous and controversial. Mao was born into a peasant family during the Qing dynasty. His mother, Mao Yichong, was a homemaker, and his father, Mao Yichong, was a student. During his early years, Mao spent most of his time working in the fields, which contributed to his upbringing as an assistant farmer. Mao Zedong's educational journey played a significant role throughout his political career. From his childhood, education held a prominent place in his life. Born into a peasant family in Shaoshan, Mao received his initial education in a traditional Chinese-style local village school. However, due to his family's financial constraints and the limited resources of the local school, Mao's education remained limited. A pivotal moment in Mao's educational journey was his father's belief in his education. Mao's father, Mao Yichong, believed in his son's potential and encouraged him to pursue education for a better future. Therefore, he supported Mao with private lessons and made efforts to provide him with a better education. Later on, Mao enrolled in a private school in Changsha, where he began to receive a more modern education. During this period, significant changes occurred in Mao's mindset and ideology. Particularly, he started to adopt a modern worldview and became acquainted with Western ideas and Marxist thought during his studies. In the early 1920s, as Mao continued his education, political and societal changes accelerated in China. During this time, the rise of the communist movement in China caught Mao's attention, and he became involved in this movement. Mao's educational journey laid the foundation for his leadership career. The knowledge and experiences he gained during his education shaped his future political views and strengthened his determination to lead the communist movement in China. Mao's educational background contributed to his enduring legacy as a significant figure in modern Chinese history. Mao became one of the founding members of the Chinese Communist Party in 1921. During that time, China experienced internal strife and struggles for statehood. Mao rose to leadership within the party, and in 1949, the Communist Party of China seized power, with Mao becoming the first chairman of the People's Republic of China. Under Mao's leadership, China underwent significant political and economic transformations. He initiated large-scale programs to dismantle bureaucratic structures and modernize rural China. However, this period also saw both triumphs and tragedies. In the 1950s, Mao attempted to align with the Soviet Union, but relations soured after Stalin's death. Mao embarked on what he called the Great Leap Forward in the late 1950s, a campaign aimed at rapidly developing and modernizing China. However, this led to severe economic problems and the loss of millions of lives. The Great Leap Forward was a large-scale campaign initiated under the leadership of Mao Zedong in 1958. This campaign emerged as an extensive plan aimed at rapidly modernizing the People's Republic of China industrially and agriculturally. Under the banner of the Great Leap Forward, this campaign reflected Mao's vision of socialist transformation and China's ability to compete with Western powers. Key objectives included increasing steel production, undertaking major irrigation and hydroelectric projects, developing rural infrastructure, and transitioning farmers into collective farms. However, the Great Leap Forward policy brought about numerous challenges. The rapid and forced implementation of the plan resulted in a significant decline in agricultural production and disappointment in steel production. This agricultural decline led to millions of people suffering from famine and even death. Furthermore, during the Great Leap Forward campaign, there was substantial waste of resources due to unrealistic targets and ideological obsessions. Mao's personal leadership style and the blind obedience of his loyal followers created an environment resistant to criticism, leading to the exacerbation of existing problems rather than their rectification. In conclusion, the Great Leap Forward campaign is remembered as one of the most controversial and problematic periods under Mao's leadership. While it was a significant part of the social and economic transformation efforts in China during Mao's rule, its legacy remains tainted by the painful consequences it brought about. The campaign serves as a symbol of the political miscalculations and excesses during the Mao era. The Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, which began in 1966 under the leadership of Mao Zedong, was a socio-political movement aimed at revitalizing the revolutionary spirit in China and purging elements deemed counter-revolutionary or bourgeois from society. This movement had profound and lasting effects on Chinese society, politics, and culture. The Cultural Revolution was initiated by Mao as a response to what he perceived as the bureaucratic and revisionist tendencies within the Communist Party and the growing influence of capitalist and traditionalist elements in Chinese society. Mao sought to reassert his authority and maintain the revolutionary fervor that had propelled the Communist Party to power. One of the central features of the Cultural Revolution was the mobilization of young people, particularly Red Guards, to challenge and overthrow the existing social and political order. Schools, universities, and other institutions were shut down, and intellectuals, artists, and professionals were targeted as representatives of the bourgeoisie and subjected to persecution, humiliation, and violence. The Cultural Revolution also saw the rise of personality cults, with Mao being elevated to the status of an infallible leader and his directives being treated as unquestionable truths. The cult of Mao personality reached its peak during this period, with Mao's image adorning posters, statues, and propaganda materials across the country. However, the Cultural Revolution soon descended into chaos and violence, with factional infighting, power struggles, and widespread human rights abuses becoming rampant. The Red Guards, initially hailed as revolutionary heroes, turned on each other and unleashed a wave of terror and destruction across the country. The Cultural Revolution officially ended with Mao's death in 1976, but its effects lingered for years to come. It left deep scars on Chinese society and led to the loss of countless lives, as well as the destruction of cultural heritage and intellectual capital. The period remains a highly sensitive and contentious topic in modern Chinese history, with official narratives often downplaying its significance while many survivors and witnesses continue to seek justice and accountability for the atrocities committed during that time. Mao Zedong's death is considered a pivotal moment in modern Chinese history. Mao, the leader of the Communist Party of China and of China itself, was one of the most influential and controversial leaders of the 20th century. He passed away on September 9, 1976, at the age of 82, in the leadership compound in Beijing. His death plunged China into a period of uncertainty and upheaval in both politics and society. Mao's passing created a void around his personal leadership style and ideological legacy, raising serious concerns about China's future direction. His death also brought about changes in the political power dynamics in China. The competition among Mao's potential successors intensified after his death, leading to heightened conflicts among different factions within the Communist Party of China. After Mao's death, China entered a new era, marking the end of the long and tumultuous period under his leadership. The new leadership began to reassess Mao's policies and legacy and embarked on a quest to shape a new roadmap for China's political and economic future. Mao's death also had a profound emotional impact on Chinese society. While many remembered him with love and admiration, others recalled the hardships and sufferings brought about by his leadership. His passing triggered different emotions and thoughts among the Chinese people and continues to be deeply debated in Chinese society.